Imagine waking up every morning knowing you hold the key to creating the life you've always dreamed of. No blocks, no limits. Sounds too good to be true. It's not. The truth is, you already possess a hidden power waiting to be switched on. Ernest Holmes, a visionary healer and thinker, believed that a divine force is always within reach, patiently waiting for you to awaken it. Most of us go through life feeling stuck, unaware that we carry a dormant superpower within our very being. In this video, we'll reveal how to unlock this force and use it to transform your reality step by step. Stay until the end to learn the one technique that can shift your energy instantly. And if you're ready to dive deeper into your inner potential, don't forget to subscribe. Your journey starts here. Dr. Ernest Holmes taught that every one of us carries a divine potential and infinite power waiting to be awakened. Think of it like electricity in your home. It's always there, flowing silently behind the scenes, but nothing happens until you flip the switch. What many don't realize is that there's another force just as constant, just as powerful, that's been guiding your life all along. It's so familiar you hardly notice it. But what if I told you this invisible force could be the key to effortlessly creating the life you dream of? Consider this. When was the last time you dropped something? Did you wonder if it would float away? Of course not. You know gravity will do its job automatically without fail. Imagine approaching your goals and desires with that same deep certainty. You might be wondering, that sounds great, but how do I actually do it? The answer is simpler than you think. You're already using this creative force every day, just unconsciously. The real shift begins when you start using it on purpose. It's like learning to walk. At first, it took all your focus. Now it's second nature. In the same way, aligning with this inner power can become effortless. All it takes is a shift in awareness, learning to think differently, to tune your thoughts to this universal energy, and to trust the process. Dr. Holmes believed we are all connected to a divine intelligence like waves in the ocean. Each of us unique, yet part of something vast and eternal. There is no separation between us and this force. We are a component of it. This is what he had to say. Every man becomes a unique manifestation of the whole, a microcosm within the macrocosm rooted in the infinite, and he personifies it. To phrase it another way, you are not merely a drop in the ocean, rather you are the ocean contained within a drop. I am aware of what you might be thinking at this moment. Despite the fact that this seems fantastic, how exactly does it assist me in my day-to-day lifestyle? I would like to ask you this first. Have you ever been confronted with a dilemma such as financial difficulties or troubles in a relationship and felt like you were absolutely stuck? Imagine supposing you were able to approach these circumstances with the same level of knowledge that you have regarding gravity. The same way that gravity is always there, sustaining you without fail, this inner power is always present to assist you towards solutions, regardless of the circumstances. It is about gaining access to the limitless knowledge that is already present within you all along. And what is the most exciting part? You are not required to earn it or demonstrate that you are worthy of it. This right is yours by birth, always on hand for access, always willing to lend you that support. For the sake of illustrating this principle, allow me to relate a brief story. For many years, a friend of mine had been experiencing financial difficulties. It did not matter how hard she worked or how many budgets she created. She always had the impression that she was swimming against the movement of the stream. Then she became aware of the concept of power that lies inside oneself. She decided to redirect her attention away from the difficulties she was experiencing financially and toward the richness that was always accessible to her. In the same way that she relied on gravity to keep her feet firmly planted on the ground, she started to put her faith in this inner power. Suddenly, chances began to materialize out of nowhere within a few months. One could receive an unexpected inheritance, a promotion at work, or even the opportunity to launch a side business. She did not suddenly find herself in a fortunate position. Simply putting herself in alignment with the flow of abundance that was always present and waiting for her to tap into it was all that she had done. The question that you might be asking yourself now is, how can I begin to use this power in my own life? What's more, it's not as complicated as you may assume. It is important to keep in mind that you are already utilizing it without even realizing it, just as you utilize gravity without even thinking about it. The important thing is to begin making deliberate use of it. First things first, pay attention to the thoughts and beliefs that you have. Does your mind constantly wander to thoughts of deficiency and scarcity? That would be the same as expecting things to fall upward rather than downward. Instead, you should make an effort to connect your thinking with possibilities and abundance. In the same way that you rely on gravity to keep your feet firmly planted on the earth, you should have faith that this inner power is always working for you. Demonstrate thankfulness for the things that you already possess. It's not just advised to make you feel better. You can tune into the abundance that is already there in your life with this method, which is a practical approach. As you become more aware of and appreciative of the positive aspects of your environment, you will attract more of them. In addition, here is a fact that should be kept in mind. You always have access to your own inner power, just like gravity does. It is not necessary to earn it or perform any activation. It is a force that is always present in your life. Whether you are working with it or against it is the only question that needs to be answered. You are familiar with the power that resides within you. On the other hand, were you aware that there is a technique to turn it on immediately? Imagine for a moment that I told you that you could activate your divine potential with the same ease as you turn on the light in your bedroom. The following is not merely a metaphor. It is a real-world method that has the potential to completely alter your life. According to Dr. Ernest Holmes, gaining access to our own inner power is as easy as turning on a switch. On our side, however, we will need to take deliberate action. Let's think back to the last time you confidently flipped a light switch, expecting that the room would suddenly become illuminated. You did not have even the slightest bit of uncertainty that the light would turn on, did you? With regard to our own divine power, Holmes wants for us to have the kind of conviction that we have described. According to his teachings, we are all related to what he referred to as one mind, a huge and all-encompassing consciousness that each and every one of us is a part of, much like waves in the ocean. Considering that we are all connected to this divine power, you might be questioning why I don't feel it all the time, since we are all connected to it. To put it another way, it's a little bit like having a lamp that is always plugged in, but never turned on. There is power, and it is ready and waiting for you. However, it is necessary for you to complete the last step, which is to turn on the switch. At this point, things start to get extremely exciting. In order to engage this power, Holmes suggests that we can physically picture ourselves turning a switch in our thoughts. It is a straightforward yet effective workout that you may perform whenever and wherever you like. Would you like to give it a shot? Shut your eyes for a brief period of time. Imagine a light switch that you have in your head. As you turn on that switch, tell yourself, I am now activating my divine power. This will help you feel less anxious. The surge of energy and potential that is surging through you should be felt. Perhaps you are wondering if it really is that easy to understand. Both yes and no. Although the act itself is straightforward, in order to properly harness its power, it is necessary to practice and have faith. Do not forget that you are not the source of this power. In the same way that electricity has always been present in your home, you are tapping into something that has always been there. The mind of God is not the one that needs to be altered, according to Holmes. Rather, it is our own as well. This ensures that the electricity is always switched on and accessible at all times. All we need to do is bring our thoughts and beliefs into alignment with it. It is about adjusting our perspective so that we do not regard ourselves as distinct from this almighty power, but rather as unique expressions of it. Take this into consideration. Within the infinite ocean of divine consciousness, you are a wave that is unlike any other. There is no separation between you and the water. It's the same material that makes up you. The complete essence of your existence, including your thoughts, acts, and actions, is a representation of this cosmic power. Activating and acknowledging this connection is what you are doing when you flip that mental switch. Currently, you might be asking how this relates to the things that you do on a daily basis. So let's assume you're dealing with a problem in your place of employment. Make sure you give yourself some time to mentally switch gears before you start working on finding solutions to problems. You should constantly remind yourself that you are connected to an unlimited wellspring of creativity and knowledge. It is possible that you will be astonished by the solutions that come to you when you approach the problem from this point of view. There's also the possibility that you're working toward a personal objective, such as bettering your health or your relationships. Imagine that you are turning on the switch each time you make a decision that is connected to that objective. There is more to it than just making a choice. Putting oneself in alignment with the divine power that is always there to support you is what you are doing. Holmes held the belief that every individual ends up being a one-of-a-kind representation of the whole. By recognizing and utilizing your connection to the divine, you are not only making improvements to your life, but you are also making them more meaningful. Your one-of-a-kind mission in the world is being accomplished by you. In the process of contributing to the broader cosmic illumination, you are allowing your own personal light to shine. Congratulations, you have successfully activated your heavenly power and linked to it. However, what if that light could shine with an even greater intensity? Imagine for a moment that just a single thought could fundamentally alter the course of your entire life. The idea may appear to be too good to be true, but Dr. Holmes was of the opinion that not only was this feasible, but it was also necessary. Imagine for a moment that you already possess the key that will allow you to realize your full potential. To rewire your mental circuitry, let's have a conversation about it. According to Dr. Holmes, if we do not like our external circumstances, conditions, or personality, the place to start changing is immediately within our own minds. This is the location where people should start. It's not just a matter of thinking positively. The most important thing is to make a fundamental change in the way that you view and engage with the world around you. Give it some thought. What percentage of the time do you find yourself ruminating on issues rather than finding solutions? Despite the fact that it is a frequent practice, it is comparable to attempting to drive a car while constantly gazing in the rearview mirror. You won't progress very far in this endeavor. The way we think is the way we behave, and the way we act is what happens. This is something Sherlock Holmes brought to our attention. Therefore, if you want different outcomes in your life, you need to begin with new thinking. However, just exactly do you go about doing this? Being positive all the time is not something that you should force yourself to do. As an alternative, it is about making a deliberate decision about where to direct your attention. You could try asking yourself, what is the opportunity here whenever you are confronted with a demanding situation? Alternatively, what can I take away from this experience? Just making this one easy adjustment can provide you access to new opportunities that you would not have explored previously. Practicing spirituality on a daily basis is yet another important weapon. The importance of having a method or a mechanism to demonstrate the veracity of a scientific theory was underlined by Holmes. You could do this through meditation, prayer journaling, or any other activity that assists you in connecting with the wisdom that resides within you. Consistency is the most important factor. It is unrealistic to anticipate that you will be able to transform your mind without engaging in consistent practice, just as you would not expect to grow healthy by coming to the gym once a month. The use of affirmations is yet another effective method for rewiring your thinking. Saying things like, I know there is a power for good which is responding to me and bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfolding, was one of the suggestions that Holmes made. At first it could seem a little awkward, but keep in mind that you are not trying to persuade yourself of something that is not true. By doing so, you are bringing to your attention the divine power that has always been available to you. When you hear all of this, you might be wondering, this sounds fantastic, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's imagine you're coping with a coworker who is particularly challenging. For example, rather than concentrating on how unpleasant they are, you may try affirming that you are open to better understanding this individual. It is possible that you will be shocked by the result of this shift in perspective, which is a relationship that is more harmonious. Or perhaps you are making efforts to improve your financial situation. Instead of worrying about your financial situation, consider imagining yourself as already having a lot of money. Feel the relaxation and delight that comes with having financial security. This has nothing to do with denying the truth. It is about bringing your ideas into alignment with the abundance that is already available to you as a result of your connection to divine power. Do not forget that this is a process. According to Holmes, nature will not permit us to remain in any one location for an excessive amount of time. Occasionally, you may have moments of doubt or setbacks. That is all right. The most essential thing is to continue to have faith in the process and to keep coming back to these practices. You have been working on these techniques, but something about them still doesn't feel quite right. Is it possible that you seem to be ignoring the most effective instrument that you have at your disposal? You won't find it in any book, nor will you learn about it in any seminar. It has been there with you the whole time, communicating with you in a low voice. The answers that you have been looking for. You read that correctly? We are discussing your intuition, which is the feeling in your stomach that frequently proves to be correct. Would you be able to access that knowledge whenever you needed it? Ernest Holmes, a physician, had the belief that human intuition is a direct connection to the wisdom of the divine. Having a personal hotline to the cosmos, which is constantly available to offer direction and insights, is comparable to having this facility. But let me tell you something. The majority of us have become so engrossed in the chaos of our everyday lives that we have lost the ability to learn how to listen. Give it some thought. How long has it been since you last paid attention to the voice that comes from within you? Probably, if you are like the majority of people, you are thinking to yourself, I don't have time for that. On the other hand, what if you could save yourself hours of strain and confusion by simply taking a few minutes out of each day to listen? That the true creative power of the mind lies deeper than the intellect was one of the lessons that Holmes taught. It's not about trying to think more deeply. To feel more profoundly is the goal. Getting in touch with that point of knowing that transcends logic and reason is the goal here. Do you know that feeling you get when you simply know something is correct, even if you can't describe why a certain thing is right? That's your intuition working its magic. To what extent can we strengthen this link to the wisdom that resides within us? It's not as complicated as you would think it is. Commence by allocating a brief period of time each day for the purpose of peaceful thought. Meditation or clearing your mind are not relevant to this discussion. In order to listen, it is necessary to make room. It is possible that you will be astonished by the things that show up when you give yourself permission to remain still. One more effective method is to express thankfulness. Holmes had the belief that deepening our connection to divine wisdom can be accomplished by noticing and appreciating the positive aspects of our lives. In other words, it is similar to setting your radio to the frequency of happiness and abundance. When you pay attention to the things that are going well, you cultivate a greater sensitivity to the direction that is constantly accessible to you. Give this a shot. Take a moment at the end of each day to jot down 3 things for which you are thankful. It is not necessary for them to be significant. You could be thankful for the comforting warmth of the sun on your face, or for the smile of a complete stranger. It is possible that you will become more conscious of the subtle nudges and insights that occur throughout the day as you continue to conduct this exercise on a frequent basis. However, this is where things start to become really interesting. As Holmes put it, the intellect ought to move from inspiration to action in a flowing manner. Simply receiving intuitive insights is not sufficient on its own. On these, we need to take action. When it comes to this, trust is essential. It is important to not disregard your instincts when you have a feeling about something. Think about it for a bit, and if you think it's the correct thing to do, go ahead and do it. That is probably what you are thinking, but what if I am wrong? The thing is as follows. You can think of your intuition as a muscle. When you utilize it more frequently, it becomes more powerful. Additionally, even if things do not go precisely as you had anticipated, there is always something to be gained from the experience. It is important to keep in mind that the universe is constantly working in your favor, even when it does not appear to be doing so. Just for a moment, try to picture yourself going through life with the assurance that you always have access to a limitless amount of knowledge. How would that bring about a shift in the manner that you make choices? What kind of impact would it have on your personal development, your work, and your relationships? Holmes was of the opinion that difficulties shed light on our existing state of consciousness and compel us to look inward in order to summon a greater amount of love, strength, and awareness. Therefore, the next time you are confronted with a challenging circumstance, rather than allowing yourself to become consumed by anxiety and tension, give this a shot. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Close your eyes and try to answer the following question. What does my inner wisdom have to say about this? It's possible that the insight that arrives will take you by surprise. When you tune into your own inner wisdom, you are opening direct channels to the advice that comes from the divine. Which texts may you possibly be getting at this very moment? Pay heed to those subtle nudges, those gentle whispers of intuition that you find yourself hearing. These thoughts are not out of the blue. They are directional signs that point you in the direction of your highest good. Perhaps you have been paying attention to your gut instincts, but have you also been responding to them? You have access to a potent instrument that enables you to communicate directly with the heavenly mind. Throughout your entire life, you have been engaging in this activity without fully appreciating the potential it possesses. You are prepared to open it. Visualization is not the same thing as daydreaming or thinking about the future. According to the teachings of Dr. Ernest Holmes, it is a powerful and practical method of communicating your requirements to the divine mind. You might think of it as sending a message to the universe that is crystal clear and vivid about what it is that you want to produce in your life. But let me tell you something. It is not sufficient to simply think about what it is that you want. In his explanation, Holmes underlined that this is not a passive behavior. As is the case with any other talent that you wish to become proficient in, it takes active participation. If you were to simply think about playing the piano, you wouldn't necessarily expect to become a great pianist, would you? This falls under the same general premise. The question now is, how can we put this into action? Let's get started right away with a straightforward visualizing practice. Shut your eyes for a brief period of time. Consider something that you have a strong desire to bring into existence in your life. It could be a new employment, a really loving relationship, or even an improvement in one's health. Let's not simply sit here and ponder about it. Look at it, experience it, take it in. Imagine that you have accomplished this objective. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Specifically, what sounds are connected to it? The more senses you engage, the more genuine it appears to your mind that you are experiencing it. You should also keep in mind that your mind is unable to differentiate between what is genuine and what is vividly imagined. Visualization is a technique that athletes employ to increase their performance for this reason. Because of this, their minds react as if they were actually carrying out the endeavor. There is a possibility that you are wondering, this sounds fantastic, but how frequently should I do this? It is suggested by Holmes that this be done on a consistent basis. To the same extent that you wouldn't expect to get in shape by going to the gym once a month, you can't expect to bring your wishes into existence by imagining them every once in a while. Time should be set up on a daily basis for this activity. It does not have to be at all lengthy. The difference can be made in as little as a few minutes. However, this is where a lot of individuals make mistakes. Just once or twice, people engage in visualization, and then they give up when they do not see results right away. You should keep in mind that you are sowing seeds in the rich soil of the divine intellect here. It takes time for seeds to mature. Believe in the procedure. Continue to cultivate those seeds via your constant practice and remain open to the possibility that they will come to fruition. To put it another way, Holmes was of the opinion that this heavenly force is available to everyone. It's not something that's only available to a select few people. This right is yours by birth. He actually stated that God is more willing to give than we are to receive, and that this is the case. That is a very powerful notion, isn't it? All that is required of you is to make use of the wealth that the universe provides. Take this into consideration. When you create something out of nothing, you are not doing so. As you do this, you are bringing yourself into alignment with the countless possibilities that already exist. By tuning into the frequency of your desires and allowing them to materialize in your life, you are bringing them into existence. Let us now discuss feelings and emotions. During the process of visualizing, it is essential to experience the feelings that are related with the accomplishment of your goal. Enjoy the sense of relief and happiness that comes with being debt-free when you are imagining financial riches. In the event that you are looking for a romantic partnership, you should experience the joy and warmth that comes with being with your perfect companion. The gasoline that drives your manifestations is these feelings that you are experiencing. It is important to keep in mind that this is not about pressuring outcomes or manipulating the cosmos. In order to align oneself with the natural flow of divine energy, you must first align yourself. It is not you who is generating the power. By doing so, you are drawing upon what is already present, in a manner similar to applying the natural laws. When it comes to the divine mind, what kind of desire are you prepared to sow in the fertile soil? By maintaining a constant practice of visualization, what seed will you tend to and cultivate? Always keep in mind that every single significant accomplishment began with a single concept, a clear picture in the mind of someone. That very same power resides within you yourself. When confronted with hardship, have you ever pondered the reasons behind the success of certain individuals while others appear to fail? What would you say if I told you that the way you understand and respond to difficulties could be the key to unlocking a life filled with development and abundance? Ernest Holmes was of the opinion that any challenge we encounter is in reality a gateway to greater understanding and power, provided that we are able to effectively utilize it. Consider the most recent time you were confronted with a significant obstacle. Have you experienced feelings of being swamped, pressured, and possibly even a touch hopeless? Every single one of us has experienced that. Imagine, however, if I were to tell you that those emotions were actually preventing you from accessing the power that you possess the most. It was taught by Holmes that the difficulties we face are not arbitrary roadblocks that are placed in our path. To be more precise, they are invites. We are extended invitations to develop, to acquire knowledge, and to access the boundless wisdom that is always there inside us. It's almost as if there is a pop quiz being given to us by the cosmos, but it's not to test us, but to teach us. Let's take a brief minute to discuss the topic of money. Struggling to make ends meet may surely feel like suffocation, right? On the other hand, Holmes would argue that these difficulties are really illuminating our existing consciousness regarding abundance. Instead of viewing a lack of financial resources as a roadblock, what if you saw it as a signal to explore the creative potential that lies within you? It is possible that it is time to consider new ways of making money or to take a fresh look at the abilities you possess. It is important to keep in mind that Holmes stated that the way we think about life is essentially what creates the situations in our lives. Try adjusting your mindset from, "I never have enough money," to, "I'm open to new opportunities for abundance." This will help you move away from that mindset. Let's move on to the topic of relationships. Every one of us has experienced our fair share of heartbreak and misunderstandings. However, what if these difficulties were actually opportunities to exercise love and understanding that is not conditional on anything specific? The belief held by Holmes was that each and every interaction is an opportunity to express more of our divine nature. If you find yourself in an argument with someone in the future, give this a shot. Asking yourself, "How can I bring more love into this situation?" is a better way to approach the situation than focusing on what they are doing wrong. It's possible that you'll be shocked by how this straightforward adjustment can completely transform even the most challenging relationships. Problems with our health can be among the most difficult obstacles we must overcome. However, Holmes recognized that this was an opportunity for advancement. While it is essential to seek the advice of medical professionals, he underlined the importance of supplementing this with a profound faith in the life force that is flowing through us. To better understand your body, try imagining it as a perfect manifestation of heavenly health. Perceive the vitality of life via each and every cell in your body. This has nothing to do with denying the truth. In order to align yourself with the healing power that is always available within you, you must first align yourself. At this point, you might be wondering, this is all very exciting, but how am I supposed to actually carry out these steps when I am in the midst of a crisis? A very good question. As a means of preparing us for the obstacles that life presents, Holmes emphasized the significance of engaging in daily spiritual practices. Commence by allocating a brief period of time each day for the purpose of peaceful thought. This isn't about forcing inspiration or chasing the right ideas. It's about creating space in your life and in your mind to connect with the deep wisdom already within you. When you allow yourself even a little time to be still and listen, you might be surprised by the clarity and insight that rises up naturally. Dr. Ernest Holmes once said that what the world needs most is first spiritual conviction and then spiritual experience. That means these aren't just ideas to admire, they're tools to live by. Next time you face a challenge, big or small, try asking yourself, what opportunity is hidden here? Or what am I being called to learn or become? Every struggle is like a spiritual workout. Just like physical strength requires effort and resistance, Spiritual growth comes from moving through life's difficulties with intention and awareness. With every challenge you overcome, you grow wiser, more resilient, and more deeply connected to the divine force within you. Here's what truly matters: that power you seek. You already have it. You don't need to find it or earn it. It's been yours since the moment you arrived in this world. The only step left is to remember it. So start small. Use these principles daily. Shift your mindset. Trust your intuition. Practice gratitude. Envision your success. Reframe problems as invitations to grow. As Holmes taught, spiritual conviction must come first, and with it, spiritual experience will follow. You are not separate from this force. You are it just like a wave is not separate from the ocean. Each time you tap into this inner power, you don't just transform your life, you align more fully with your higher purpose. So ask yourself, how will I show up today? The answer isn't out there. It's already inside you. Use it often, and watch how your world begins to transform.